Welcome to Vetted Shorts, the place where fact, folklore, and the phenomenal collide. Today we're diving into one of ufology's most enigmatic topics, the Ashtar Command variant, a group that's been described as the Galactic Peacekeepers, the stunningly Nordic emissaries patrolling the edges of human destiny. Are they cosmic saviors, phantom mediators, or something stranger still? Grab your curiosity and let's investigate the lore, the evidence, and the enduring mysteries behind these tall, blonde, uniformed beings. Let's set the scene. Picture the deserts of California in the 1950s, a time of technicolor optimism and mid-century paranoia. In a landscape steeped in secrecy and science fiction, one man named George Van Tassel would claim contact from celestial envoys who called themselves members of the Ashtar Command. George Van Tassel wasn't your usual contactee. He was an aircraft mechanic, a builder, and a man fascinated with the limits of human potential. But after a series of otherworldly encounters at the legendary Giant Rock, he began transmitting the messages of a being called Ashtar, a commander of an interstellar fleet dedicated to the safety and evolution of humanity. The Ashtar Command quickly captured the imagination of both UFO believers and skeptics. Descriptions of these entities painted a consistent narrative: tall, elegant figures, almost alarmingly beautiful, with flaxen hair, broad shoulders, hypnotic blue eyes, and a calm, almost ethereal presence, embodying the archetype of what's now called the Nordic alien. It's worth pausing here. Why the fascination with Nordic or Scandinavian features? Skeptics point to cultural ideals of beauty, but believers suggest these beings chose a form compatible with calming and guiding humanity. The Ashtar Command's reported behavior only added to their allure. Unlike the often sinister Greys or the inscrutable reptilians, the Ashtar Command communicated through a channeling process, sending serene telepathic messages of unity, peace, and ascension. Most contactees describe these messages as fundamentally uplifting. The Ashtar Command, they say, wants to shepherd humanity away from destruction toward a higher vibrational existence. They're described as a Galactic Federation equivalent, with a strict cosmic prime directive: support, not domination. But who or what is the Ashtar Command, really? And can we trust their message? This is where the story begins to twist, a rabbit hole that merges New Age philosophy with interstellar intrigue. According to classic contactee lore and dozens of channeled messages since Van Tassel's time, Ashtar himself is the supreme commander of a vast invisible armada orbiting Earth. The missions? Peacekeeping, monitoring our nuclear arsenals, assisting in spiritual evolution, and sometimes delivering direct warnings about humanity's future. Yet the reports don't always agree. Some messages present Ashtar as almost angelic, a non-physical being of pure intention, barely constraining themselves to humanoid form. Others are more physical, detailed accounts of multi-deck ships, crew in crisp uniforms, and high-tech control panels lining the starlit corridors. And here's a twist that's divided investigators for decades. Are we tuning into advanced extraterrestrials, a spiritual hierarchy, or a new pantheon playing the role of cosmic guardians? One thing is clear: the Ashtar Command is obsessed with communication. Whether via psychics, trance-channelers, or even radio waves, their messages are spread to warn, to guide, and, allegedly, to recruit human minds in their mission. Their agenda? From the very start, it was about ascension support. That means encouraging humanity to overcome its violence and division, and to prepare spiritually for some sort of coming cosmic change, a leap in consciousness rather than a physical rescue by UFOs. Let's break down what we know about their physical traits. Contact reports have been almost eerily consistent. The Ashtar Command members stand far taller than average humans, often 6 to 8 feet. Their bone structure is delicate but strong, and they often wear what are described as form-hugging silver or white uniforms, said to shimmer with an unearthly energy. But just as often, these reports note something less tangible: an overwhelming sensation of calm, benevolence, and unthreatening power. Not only do the Ashtar Command communicate through speech, but those who claim contact often mention a flood of images, emotions, and intuitive understanding, a form of ethereal, mind-to-mind conversation. Skeptics argue that these interactions sound suspiciously like the best possible outcome of a human imagination hungry for hope. But there are patterns too consistent, repeated across decades, continents, and individual experiences. Of all the reported encounters, Van Tassel's remains the most iconic. According to his diaries, he was awakened one night at Giant Rock by a beam of blue light. The rest, as they say, is history. What followed was a torrent of channeled dictations from Ashtar and his lieutenants, most famously, the warning messages in the midst of the Cold War. Van Tassel went on to build the so-called Integratron, an acoustic dome he claimed was planned with Ashtar's input, designed to rejuvenate human cells and expand psychic receptivity. Whether a brilliant architectural experiment or an alien-inspired healing device, the Integratron remains a touchstone for believers. As the decades rolled by, the Ashtar Command story only spread. Countless channelers contributed their own messages, some eerily similar, some contradictory. A New Age subculture blossomed around these ethereal guides, blending mentions of the Ashtar Command with ideas from Eastern religion, quantum mysticism, and even environmental activism. Yet here's another twist. At various points, a handful of channeled warnings became darker and more urgent, claiming looming disasters, cataclysms avoided only by the Ashtar Command's direct intervention. Critics quickly pointed out failed predictions, leading to a cloud of suspicion and even parody. But not everyone dismissed these inconsistencies. Some suggested that, much like folklore about angels, the appearance and message of the Ashtar Command shift depending on human consciousness, mirroring our own evolutionary progress. Today, despite decades of debate, the legend endures. The archetype of the Nordic alien, wise, peaceful, physically flawless, is woven into our pop culture, conspiracy theories, and even aspirational spirituality. Dig deeper and you find a host of related motifs. The Ashtar Command is sometimes equated with other Federation groups, alleged coalitions of benevolent cosmic beings said to be monitoring Earth discreetly. Some say these groups intervene behind the scenes, nudging us toward ethical evolution, but always respecting free will. But can all this be more than myth? Some researchers point to possible military encounters, episodes where bizarre, bright objects appeared over nuclear installations, echoing Ashtar Command's own warnings about the dangers of atomic warfare. Others are less convinced, viewing the Ashtar Command strictly as a psychological safety net, a cosmic mirror reflecting our desire for order, guardianship, and ultimate redemption, especially at times of global crisis. There's another fascinating thread to consider. Are these encounters a form of spiritual technology? The uniformed celestial subtlety of the Ashtar Command, half technological, half transcendental, suggests that humanity's future may depend on merging science with higher awareness. In that framework, whether or not these beings are physically real, the experiences they inspire might catalyze new ways of thinking, new codes of behavior, and even new art, music, and healing practices. But let's pull back to the wider lens. Every myth, no matter the source, shapes how we imagine tomorrow. The Ashtar Command has become a symbol for both the best and the most controversial aspects of modern ufology. Pure optimism meeting persistent doubt. Could the Ashtar Command be part of some elaborate intelligence operation crafted during the Cold War to manipulate public perception? Or is there truth buried beneath layers of metaphysical symbolism and wishful thinking? Some even wonder if the Ashtar Command is not just out there, but in here. Are they manifestations of a collective unconscious? Archetypes emerging as humanity confronts the unknown? The sheer consistency of their image, tall, blonde, uniformly dressed, has led analysts to compare them to guardian angels, culture heroes, even ancient sky gods. Could the stories be modern retellings of something very old? But perhaps the greatest twist is this. Whether they're literal, symbolic, or both, the Ashtar Command offers a framework for hope. In a world beset by chaos and division, the idea of a higher order, a cosmic peacekeeping force, appeals to our deepest longings. If you've followed the Ashtar Command's progression, from California deserts to the global airwaves to internet forums and spiritual retreats, you'll notice a pattern. Their messages evolve, just as our collective imagination evolves. But the core is always the same. Humanity stands at the threshold of something huge. We have help, but not saviors. The Ashtar Command invites us to rise, not just to await rescue, to participate in our own transformation. So what do you think? Are we receiving telepathic guidance from a galactic federation? Or is this all the grandest metaphor, a roadmap for our potential when we dare to dream at cosmic scale? As always, Vetted Shorts is about separating fact from fancy. But with the Ashtar Command, maybe the most important question is, What story do we want to tell about our place in the cosmos? And what future will we choose to create? That's all for today's dossier. So now it's your turn. Do you believe in the Ashtar Command? Are they guides, guardians, or something else entirely? Drop your theories and questions in the comments below. Let's chase this mystery together. Tell us what other alien dossiers you'd like to see deep dive next. Should we unpack the secrets of the Greys, the mysterious tall whites, or something even stranger? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your fellow cosmic detectives. Thanks for watching Vetted Shorts, where we keep one eye on the stars and the other on the truth. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and never stop looking up.